This thing has my name on it, I'm telling you. Of course, I say that about all the vehicles I buy. Hello everyone. Recently I've been flirting with the idea of trading the Ram Power Wagon on a Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Now, I know I haven't owned this Gladiator very long. It's only been about 5 months, and I absolutely love this Power Wagon. But circumstances have kind of changed. I had a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon before I had the 4xe, which was what I traded in on the Ram Power Wagon. I really liked it. I really would have wanted to lift it up, get it kind of where I want it to be, have the winch, have the bigger lift, bigger tires, so it would do better off-road. That breakover angle is what hinders it, and if you lift it up, it kind of makes it more like a four-door Wrangler. So anyway, instead of I've been looking at Rubicons again, but then I started really checking out the Mojave. I'm not sure what really got me on to looking at the Mojave per se, but maybe the fact that a dealership had one. I was like, I should check it out just to drive it. And I'm all about, the one downside that Jeeps have sometimes is their ride, especially in the older Jeeps. Now, the Gladiator Rubicon was the best riding Jeep I've ever owned to this point. But then the Mojave takes that to another level. The ride's even better on-road and off-road, and you know how if you've ever gone off-roading, and to get to your favorite trail or to the technical stuff, you have to go through washboardy dirt roads or little 2-track roads with a lot of undulating terrain that you want to go fast down. Certain off-road vehicles like ATVs can just fly down those, but in a Jeep you can. It starts jarring your teeth out, like even with a good lift, a good suspension lift, and airing down your tires, it's still, you just can't get up to kind of the speed you think it can or want it to. But the Mojave kind of does that. It's not as good as like a Raptor TRX or an ATV, but it's probably the best you can get with a solid front axle. And it's still very similar to a Rubicon. It still has your Dana 44's solid axles front and rear. You lose the front locker, you lose the 4-to-1 transfer case, and you lose your electronic sway bar disconnect. But I've owned Jeeps in the past without that. You can get quick disconnects, easy fix there. Do you always need the 4-to-1 transfer case? Not always. If you're hardcore rock crawling, yes, and the front locker, yes. I'd say about 80 to 90% of my off-roading, not 80-90% of my driving, but 80 to 90% of my off-roading, it's not, the front locker is not required. I can probably get by with the rear locker. And if I can disconnect the front sway bar and have that axle articulate, you need that locker even less. Now, of course, I'm going to get to that one situation where that front locker would have totally come in handy and be like, oh man, I wish I had it. But I think if I get the winch installed and some other recovery gear, stuff like that, I mean, I have a lot of that stuff, that'll help. Oh, there it is, the red one. All right, there it is. They've got quite the selection here. There's a white 4xe Wrangler Rubicon. Larger selection, bigger market than what I've seen in San Antonio. And of course, red is my #1 color. Despite being a Mojave, it doesn't have a whole lot of other options. You don't get your LED headlights. You can replace the bulbs with LED bulbs. That would have been a deal breaker, which I really like LEDs, but if there's a way to remedy it, it's no longer a deal breaker. Here's your special suspension remote reservoir Fox shocks. And it's an inch higher than the Rubicon. It also has special jounce bumper right here.
It's hydraulic, and so when that axle bottoms out after a mini jump, it'll help absorb that shock. And that allows you to do like mini Baja style off-roading with this Jeep Gladiator. Ah, they've added bed liner. It didn't have bed liner on the sticker or in the photos. Of course, they're gonna want a pretty penny for that. This one has the soft top. Got the signature orange tow hooks instead of red. That's for the Mojave. Let's see, plastic bumper, but there's aftermarket options for that. And here's where I'd really like to get some protection. These wheels also have a little bit more of an offset. You can see here's I believe this might be an Overland or Sport. It's a lot more flush, so those wheels don't stick out as far. There it is, my coveted manual transmission, which went out of style really fast.
A few moments later.
Oops, he stalled it. Millennial anti-theft device. 2022 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Never had this badge on any of my Jeeps. Desert rated. Ironic, because I no longer live in the desert. All right, you ready for this? Back in the saddle. Let's blow this joint. My Power Wagon. It was a ton of fun. Things had to change. Don't always want things to change, but sometimes we have to make choices. We got to be flexible. We got to roll with the punches. Things happen. I think it's sometimes rare when you can find something you want to downgrade to. And it all depends on how you look at it, whether or not this is a downgrade. In some ways, I think it's an upgrade. Sportier, more off-road capable. At least it can fit down tighter trails than the Power Wagon. Of course, not as good traction, but that can be remedied. Now this one is pretty bare bones. The only option on the sticker is the Firecracker Red paint job. But the Mojave already comes pretty well equipped. It's already got the 8.4 Uconnect screen, power windows, power locks, remote keyless entry. It has the garage or the HomeLink garage door opener that you can program. So it's not bare bones at all. It's got the better sound system in it that just comes in the Mojaves. Now, one thing it didn't come with, well, the dealer added the bed liner and the front windows are tinted. So I was able to negotiate part of that out, but it did not come with a tow hitch. But I happened to find one here locally in the Houston area for a pretty decent price. A guy was asking $75 and would settle for $60. And so I'm going to go pick it up right now before I head back to San Antonio. And now the Gladiators already come with the wiring harness, both the 4-pin and 7-pin. So all I need is the hitch back there. And I was down underneath there looking at it, and it looks like it has like half of the hardware already. It just needs the actual receiver hitch. So
I'm gonna go look at it and see what I really need off that. But I think that's a pretty good deal. Well, it turned out that hitch wasn't a hitch receiver. It was I guess the bar that attaches between the two frame ends. So I already have that. It's already on here. I just have to get the actual like hitch receiver hitch that I can probably just get off Amazon or something, like $150. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just heading home now. Still got about an hour and a half driving along I-10 between Houston and San Antonio. Really getting a chance to see how this thing drives on the highway, and it drives great. Drives straight. I mean, I don't feel like I'm fighting the steering at all. Some people say it feels like that on the Jeep Gladiator, Jeep Wrangler. So far I'm averaging 16.9 mpg after 117 miles. I sure missed having a soft top. It's a quick and convenient way to enjoy the open air Jeep experience. While not as convenient as a power sliding roof, this is much more convenient than taking off a hard top and having to store large bulky sections of your roof. Being able to have a manual transmission convertible truck that can handle and ride better than any other body-on-frame Jeep from the factory is extremely rare, and in my opinion, makes this vehicle so unique. Could this be the Swiss Army knife of automobiles? That's debatable, but I will tell you that this vehicle checks off so many boxes on my list of needs and desires in a vehicle. Thanks for taking this first look at my brand new 2022 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Stay tuned to the channel for future updates and more in-depth analysis on this Jeep Gladiator, as I hope to finally take it off-road and see how well it truly performs. We'll see you on the next adventure. Take care.